What's good, guys? It's your boy KIDSTATIIC. Today we're going to be reacting to Barato 2 Blue Vortex Chapter 24. Barato meets Momoshiki for the first time in 3 years. There's definitely going to be a lot of good stuff in this video, so let's get into it.
Yo, what's going on, guys? Six Past Dunga back again with another video. Today we got, yet again, more Chapter 24 lore for Boruto 2 Blue Vortex. So I already posted on my community tab the post where you guys should drop your hot takes for Chapter 24. So of course, if you want to be in that upcoming video, then be sure to drop your hottest takes and predictions on that post. I'm going to choose 10 comments from that post and include it in the video. You guys can expect that video possibly on the 12th. Maybe earlier, I don't know, but definitely the 12th at the latest. We gotta move fast because we're gonna start getting sneak peeks and spoilers soon. The new chapter drops on the 17th this month, which isn't that much earlier than when we usually get our new chapters, but nonetheless, it's still a few days earlier. But before that video, I'm gonna get my own prediction for chapter 24 off in this video right here. We got a lot to talk about, so let's not waste any more time. Before I get into the video today, I'm going to kindly ask you all to drop a like on the video, as I do work on these videos solo, and they do take quite a bit of time and effort. So any form of appreciation is much accepted. And without further ado, let's get into it. So I don't need to tell you all, but with the arrival of Kawaki to Boruto, we're in for the most action-packed chapter we gotten since, I don't even know. There is so much hype because of the many possible directions the story could go. Just to name a few, we could possibly see a Kawaki versus Jura 1v1. It could be possible that we could see Boruto join in the battle for one last push to defeat Jura, maybe even a Momoshiki emergence. A lot of possibilities, but we're going to cover them all right now. So of course, let's start with the chapter cover, just to get that out the way. This chapter is more on the obvious side. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's damn near guaranteed that we see Kawaki make the chapter cover this month. He just revealed his new power and a new outfit to go with it. I see a cover where they show us just how powerful Kawaki has gotten in the last few chapters. So probably something like this you see on the screen, him with his staff, and Ikimoto might do something to him to show us how similar he is to Ishiki now. Maybe he swaps Kawaki's clothing to that of Ishiki. Maybe
I like the character design of Kawaki. I'll say that, to be honest. When Barato first started, I honestly wasn't the biggest fan, but with what they've been doing recently, since 2 Blue Vortex, they've been doing a lot of good stuff, and I'm actually super excited to see it animated because some of these fights and some of these arcs will be great. And I think they'll be legendary. I don't think they'll be up there with, like, Naruto or Shippuden, but I think Barato has the potential to be its own thing. So I'm super excited, and there's a lot of stuff going on.
maybe he adds the horn, something fun like that. It could very well just be him with his new outfit, but whatever it is, it's 100% going to be Kawaki, no doubt about it. So judging from how last chapter went, there's a world where we could just see the chapter started off where the last chapter ended, Jura basically launching himself towards Kawaki, and they start going at it. Prior to the last chapter ending, Kawaki activated his karma, releasing even more of his new limitless power. So I'm really interested in seeing how he fares against a Jura, who probably will take him a considerable amount more serious than before. It should also give me enough material to make a video I plan to make going over how strong this new Kawaki is and where he ranks among the strongest characters in the series. I, of course, had this idea since last chapter, but as you might have guessed, I just needed a bit more context to go off of when discussing Kawaki's new power. We just haven't seen enough, but I'm counting this chapter will get a better understanding of his new power and how it works. So just be on the lookout for that when it eventually drops later this month. So okay, since Jura said that he can sense that Kawaki has gotten exponentially stronger since the last time they had their first conflict, I believe Jura won't try and beat around the bush with this fight. I don't necessarily feel like he was taking Boruto lightly, but I do feel like he could show more power than what he's shown in that fight. And Kawaki will force him to pull that out now. Something interesting to note is that before Amato removed Kawaki's limiters, he told him to use whatever methods, scientific or otherwise, to make him stronger beyond all limits. Basically make him even more of a monster than the Shinju. If we take that statement seriously, then I suspect there could be a good chance Kawaki could come out and at bare minimum be stronger than all of the Shinju not named Jura. We don't know how strong Amato can possibly make Kawaki, and if that max exceeds Jura's current power or not. The max power of Jura isn't even known. So I want to believe Kawaki is just this all superior being now, but I can't believe that Amato knows the true extent of Jura's true power. So how can he gauge how strong Kawaki would need to be able to take him down? So it's more likely Amato just made Kawaki as strong as he possibly can. So if it turns out that that power he bestowed upon him isn't enough, then that's it. He won't ever have the power necessary to take Jura down solo. But that's exactly why Boruto is there, to provide that extra support if deemed necessary. Before we get into that, let me get the boring parts out the way. I don't really see it as boring. It's all about your own personal perspective. But I'm talking about flashbacks. I'm gonna just address the elephant in the room right off the bat. This is actually a very good time to smack a flashback into the story. But the flashback could either be of two things. The first flashback we could get is, of course, a brief glimpse of Kawaki actually getting his limiters removed. I guess since the last time we actually seen Kawaki was chapter 19, and him and Amato were discussing the removal of the limiters. So a flashback could be in play to just show us the rest of what happened to lead us to this point right here. There's still a few things we have to know. First off, we need to see if they shared any more important dialogue, something that could tell us how strong Kawaki is now, or maybe something crucial about his new power that could end up being a hindrance later on. And also, we need to see the process of Kawaki getting his limiters removed. When Amato removed Code's limiters, he had a unique command phrase that instantly removed his limiters, multiplying his power several times over. He also has command phrases that shuts down his cyborgs too. And I wouldn't say it's all that important, but I wouldn't mind knowing what that command phrase is and seeing the physical change of Kawaki once he says it. So I feel that is very much needed. And what's even more needed is the events that follow this interaction between Kawaki and Amato. Because there's a reason why he's in Sunagakure right now. Did Shikamaru inform Kawaki of this and send him as well? Did Amato inform him? What exactly happened to cause Kawaki to arrive in Sunagakure at this moment to help Boruto? There's no way he knew Boruto would be in this position right here unless he sensed it or something like that. So he had to be coming anyway because of the mission Sarada, Konohamaru, and the others were dealing with. And also, he did get here in a very timely manner. So I need to know if there was some space-time ninjutsu in play here, or maybe they just flew. But as it pertains to that, that's all I really feel that needs to be included in a flashback. Because I don't feel like it's going to be very long, or let me say I don't feel like it needs to be very long. So the other possible flashback we can get is Boruto and Momoshiki. I feel like this is the one we all been waiting for. But this one is a bit complicated because it could be a flashback, but then again, it could easily be something that happens in real time. I only say that because Kawaki currently has his Karma Seal activated, which will cause Boruto's to activate because of resonance. It's already confirmed to happen, especially since Boruto's control over the Karma actually gotten worse post-time skip. So let's just say Boruto's Karma activates, and then Boruto feels Momoshiki's presence. They could literally just have a conversation just like when he took over Boruto's body in chapter 65. And in this conversation, they could discuss just about anything. But if I had to guess, it could be about Jura's existence and him telling Boruto that he wants to get rid of Jura because he seeks the death of Boruto, which directly gets in the way of Momoshiki's end goal. So because of that, maybe we can see a Momoshiki takeover. I'm gonna dive more into that in a second, but first let's look back at chapter 15, right here where Boruto first talks about Momoshiki post-time skip. He tells Kawaki that he's been completely quiet these past 3 years, but before that, he said he hasn't used Karma even once since when he fought Code with Sasuke. He stated that when he did use the Karma, he felt a feeling of dying while still fully conscious, basically insinuating that Momoshiki tried to take over his body and ultimately failed at the attempt. But what if something more happened during that period? What if Boruto actually seen Momoshiki and had a brief conversation with him? Or maybe he just told Boruto something. It could be a huge chance that Boruto just didn't tell Kawaki the full story because he would be afraid of how he would react. He knows how Kawaki feels about the Otsutsuki, and especially Momoshiki. So for Kawaki to keep a level head, and for him to trust him enough to forge an alliance, he must have held some information from Kawaki that would have him think otherwise. So in this chapter, we could get a flashback back to that day, and it'll show us Boruto trying to use the karma and what happened because of it. So two directions the story could go for Boruto's side of things, easy enough to see that. Now, getting into the meat and potatoes of the chapter, I fully expect to see at least 1/3 of the chapter be action-filled content. That means mainly Kawaki showing off his new power. That should be the main priority for Ikimoto, to re-establish Kawaki as a heavy threat again in the story. Once that happens, we can focus on other aspects of the story, because I can almost guarantee the entire chapter won't just be focused on Kawaki and Jura. Remember, he didn't come to Sunagakure alone. Delta is also there, and she was most likely ordered to assist Konohamaru and the others, possibly to escort them to Gaara and Shinki to save them and provide much needed backup. I also wouldn't mind if Boruto set this up behind the scenes. This whole chapter just told us that he has something cooking. Remember, he told Konohamaru to go back to the place he first met up with the Sand Shinobi and await further instruction. And the further instruction he's talking about could very well be coming from Delta. He could have planned this meeting because he knew Kawaki would join in the fight, which could be the reason he told Kawaki he was late when he arrived to help him. He wasn't surprised at all in comparison to the last time Kawaki arrived to the battlefield to provide assistance. It's almost like he planned this from the start, which I think is a big possibility he did. Either that, or like I said earlier, Shikamaru just gave them a mission and they're carrying out that mission. So let's look at Boruto specifically in this situation. He's going to be our wild card in this instance. He has the power to change the trajectory of the chapter in one simple move. So obviously, he could just stay out the fight and let Kawaki take a shot at Jura, especially if he's too injured to fight. But there's also a possibility he fights alongside Kawaki, which would only be possible if the Karma Seal suddenly activated. Now, when this happens, either two things are possible. We get a situation where we simply have Boruto and Kawaki versus Jura, or Momoshiki versus Kawaki and Jura. Like I said, Momoshiki could take this opportunity to make his grand entrance and take over Boruto's body to try and dispose of Jura. Easier said than done though. There's one problem with this theory, because now we just have a three-way deadlock. Kawaki told Boruto straight up to his face that he would just kill him if he loses control and runs amok. I have a hard time believing Momoshiki heard this and chooses to take over Boruto's body at this time, knowing Kawaki is going to go after him. And Jura is present there too. It's too risky knowing you cannot defeat both of them by yourself. There's no way Kawaki will just let Momoshiki fight Jura one-on-one with no interference, so he has to choose his battle wisely right here. I would say he lets Boruto use his karma freely right here. It might entice him to keep using it more if he feels that he might be able to keep his consciousness through the process. So without me dragging it out too much, I'm gonna say this chapter definitely starts out with a flashback on Kawaki's side, getting his limiters removed, or like I explained for Boruto's case, he could either get a flashback from back when he fought Code, or a conversation between him and Momoshiki in real time. And from that, we could begin the action starting off with Kawaki going at Jura one-on-one. We then transition to Konohamaru and the others. They rendezvous with Delta as she assists with the mission to help Shinki and Gaara. And then towards the ending, we see either Momoshiki emerging or Boruto's karma activating and he helps Kawaki take Jura down. Really simple, but yet exciting. There's so much to look forward on to that chapter alone, but I am very
Yeah, man. With that said, like, yeah, this is a big juicy chapter. I did have some stuff to say, but there was so much going on, I couldn't even really say because I'm just like, dude, like, no way. Like, there's gonna be so much action when we see this anime actually come back. I think it got delayed, but I'm not really sure. But we are gonna see it at some point. But yeah, chapter 24 was actually really good. I'm excited to see where the fight is gonna go, especially with Boruto's struggle with his karma, and then seeing how strong Kawaki got. Like, dude, this finally has some great potential. And they've been cooking, like I said, since Two Blue Vortex, the arc started. They've been cooking like crazy. So I'm super excited. Make sure you guys jump in the comments. Let me know how you guys feel. Hit that like button, subscribe. It's your boy KIDSTATIIC, and I'm out. Peace.